Hey, hey, hey. Shorty's back. Just about. So I've been ill, so I missed last week's podcast. Even though the week before that I was excited because of the commitment that I'd shown. But really and truly, I did negotiate with the Grim Reaper. And I said, not this time. I've just started a podcast. No, you are not taking me. You're not taking me. Um, I've got to build up this podcast. And the Green Reaper didn't say anything back to me and just kind of like tossed his head, like, kind of thing, and then walked out my room. So I'm here, but I have got a little bit of froggy at the bottom of my throat, and I think it suffers from dwarfism because it's finding it hard to just jump out from my esophagus and to hurl out of my mouth and land wherever it wants to land. So it's really trying its best, but not trying hard enough. It's not putting the elbow grease in. It's not saying, where's a trampoline? Give me a trampoline because I need to jump out. No, it's not using its initiative. It's not being creative. It's just jumping, just jumping, just jumping. So even as I'm talking to you, I did cough before I started, so I think it's gone to sleep. But I'm sure at some point it will start like jumping again and it be at the back of my throat or somewhere halfway between that and my esophagus. But it's really annoying because it's like an unwanted friend, you know? It's like, get out my face. Get out my life. What, you're still there? You know, get out. But yeah, so anyway, I haven't been out much because I've been nursing my plague or influenza. It was it wasn't bad, but to other people I made it out like I was dying. But it wasn't bad. It was just annoying, you know, because it was like when I sleep, I need to be able to breathe with both my nostrils. So only having one nostril to breathe from was annoying. And that whistling sound the nose makes, that whistling sound, so, it's like you can't sleep. It's just so annoying. And then towards the end, I started having a sore throat from hell, could hardly swallow, lost my voice to the happiness of most people. But to me, it was like, well, I've lost my voice and I've got a lot to say. And, you know, people were happy. So I was communicating mostly by text. But it reminded me, like always, if I'm not allowed to speak, which pisses me off because I love to talk. So when I'm not allowed to speak, or if I can't speak because I've got a cold, that's when I remember that, yeah, as soon as I recovered, I'm going to learn sign language. Because I've always wanted to learn sign language. Like years and years and years ago, I'm talking about Joan of Arc times. I wanted to learn sign language. Because to me, it's like cool. You know, I know it sounds bad because, you know, people who are deaf, that's the only means of communicating. And there's me saying it's cool. I know it sounds wrong, but when people say to me, like, why do you want to learn sign language? I tell them this story I'm about to tell you now. So when I was at boarding school, we had a lot of children from Hong Kong. So, like always, when you meet people who have a completely different language to yourself, I was like, you know, not just me, but everyone was like, oh, teach us words. So, you know, they started teaching us words like, you know, I don't know, chair, ball, and I was like, no, teach us words. I want to know the swear words. And I was like, so they're teaching us words. And I was like, what does that mean? Bitch. What does that mean? Fuck. And I'm like, nah, teach us swear words. And that's when, like, I was taking that in. And I think this is where I went wrong with education. I think that's what teachers need to do, is make it exciting, make it look like it's something major. Then we'll take it in. Because I've learned French at school, I've learned German at school. Do I remember it now? No, not at all. But swear words, you never forget. So at school, I learnt the swear words, everything, blah, blah. Many years later, fast forward, years and years later, I'm with a group of friends. We're at a Chinese restaurant, a Chinese buffet in Chinatown. And we were there with a party of about 10, 15, I can't remember, but there was loads of people. And it was a small, tiny restaurant. They're still there, Mr. Wu. Yeah. And it was cheap and cheerful, so we always went there, me and my friends. And I think it was like £5 at the time, or maybe £4.50. I think it was £4.50. Anyway, probably still is today, who knows. But anyway, so we were all there, and you know, like buffets, the trick is to eat and then to rest, and then to go for the second portion, and then to rest. But the rest, don't take the piss and have a rest for an hour. You take a rest for about, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. So when you're in a large group and everyone's doing the same technique, where you'd be probably an hour and a half with, if you're just the two of you, 10, 15 people, I think we were in there for hours. I'm talking about 3, 4. I have no idea, because we're chatting a lot, because we're excited, because we're going to a club after. And so we were just chatting. And the waitress, there was one waitress who kept looking at us, and you could see she was angry anyway. But anyway, we didn't let that faze us. So we were chatting away, laughing loud. I had the loudest laugh, but for some reason, everything was funny. Then the waitress said, are you ready for the bill? And we were kind of like, no. So she went away, and again, we were like laughing, joking, because looking back now, it was a small restaurant. Yes, we were clogging up the tables, right? But at the time, we were relaxed. We were having fun. We were going to pay. You know what I mean? So it was like, what's the deal? So anyway, the same waitress then comes round again, but now she's standing between me and my friend. So I have my back to her. So then she was like, do you want the bill? Like, very aggressive. And I was just like, oh, dear gosh. And then my friend goes, no, we're not ready. And then she went, like a big sigh. I felt the hurricane, right, just touched my face, the side of my face. Lucky enough, she didn't have bad breath, but I was like, uh-oh. So this man comes to her. I don't know if it was her boss or whatever. So he comes up to her, and they're still behind me and my friend. And they were, and I can't speak Cantonese, as in, generally speaking, I can swear at you, but I don't know the language. So I'll just assume what happened. I think he came over to her and said, why are these girls still at the table? I told you to get rid of them. And she probably said, I've told them, but they're not going. And then I think he must have said, well, they need to go. They need to go. We've got people waiting outside, blah, blah, blah. Now, when it comes to things like this, I kind of take the piss, because I'll even eat slower. Even if I'm full, like ready to throw up, I will chew slower. I will chew so slow that you would just think I'm taking a piss, which I am. But anyway, so then she replied to him this long sentence. I don't think it even had a comma. Definitely didn't have a full stop, because she just went on a roll. So she was I think she was like fed up with him asking or whatever. Anyway, she went on this long tirade of a thing. And then I heard key words. And I heard key phrases. So I was like, okay, wait 1 second. So then I did, like, you know, like how models do when they turn their heads. I did that. I was like, whoosh. And I was facing, because I was sitting down, so I was facing her belly. So I had to look up. So I cocked my head up. And then I went, and it was as if I was speaking in tongues, because I went through this whole Cantonese swear words of I've no idea. And there were some words I surprised myself on. And this went on for about 75 seconds. Because I was ready. I wanted to get every single word that I'd been taught when I was younger out. And it was all coming out. I was saying it loud and proud. And when I'd finished, the waitress, her jaw was on the floor. Like, literally, she was like, The man, it was like he'd been frozen. And he just literally just stood there looking at me. Not jaw on floor, not what the fuck, none of that. He just looked at me. And I sat down, flicked my hair, sat down, and looked at my friends. And they were also looking at me with jaw on the floor. And then the whole silence broke. I think even the restaurant, I think I must have been, I've got a loud voice anyway, so my voice must have carried. But maybe the restaurant also stopped talking as well. I've no idea. But I remember looking at my friends and they were like, what the hell just happened? What were you saying? Because they didn't go to the same school as me. So I was like, I can speak Cantonese. Okay, I can only swear. Oh, I can count from 1 to 6. Yep, you some say lot. See, there you go. And they were like, what? I just cussed them out. Oh my gosh. And they were still standing there. They hadn't said a word to each other. Then that's when the guy just walked off. He just shimmied away. And the waitress was like, do you girls want some drink? And it was just so, like, we all burst out laughing because it was just so funny how suddenly, now you want to treat us like real customers. Jeez. But I was like, nah, because to me, it's like, if I've disrespected you, your mom, and, everyone in your family, everything about your vagina, your breasts, everything. If I've gone to that level, I can't accept for you to bring me anything because I won't trust it. So I'm just naturally like that as a person anyway. So I'm not saying that this restaurant would do it. It's just me as a person. So I was like, no. Lucky enough, my friends also said no. So with going back to the sign language, I've always wanted to be able to know it because it would be interesting to know that, if people are speaking sign language, on the street or whatever, and you're near them, and then suddenly they start talking about you, and then you go in there and, like, you finish it off, the conversation. That'd be so cool. And then also, when you're ill, you can kind of like use the sign language, but no one will understand you because they don't know sign language. But you can kind of say, okay, I'm going to befriend somebody that does. And then you've got someone to talk to. So therefore, I'm able to communicate 24/7, no matter how ill I am. So that would be cool. So where have I been this week? So, last week, I had to drag my weary carcass, even though I was quite ill. Went to Kew Gardens, Christmas at Kew, to see the lighting. Very interesting lighting. So I had to go straight to the box office because I was on the guest list. So I got complimentary entry. And when we were shown to the security tables, because They had like tables there, and there was like 2 security guards to a table. Then you had other security just floating around in their high-vis jackets. Now, it wasn't crowded at the security table. So if you were the event management, you would have been probably crapping yourself to think, oh, gosh, this event's not going as good as it is. But no, it is, because outside there was a queue that wouldn't end. There was the longest queue I've ever seen, but it moves. I think they were letting people block by block, like, kind of thing. So the security could do their thorough security checks. So anyway, so we were ushered to the security table because I had a bag, my friend had a bag. So I opened up my bag as instructed, and the lady took this tiny flash torch. When I say tiny, it's the ones that you'd probably put on your keyring. And so the light wasn't that great on it. And I opened up the flap because of other security checks like I've had at, other places like, what you call it, like the Christmas market in Leicester Square. They practically empty your bag out. So I was like, oh gosh, now I've got to empty my bag out. My bag's got so much stuff. So I opened the flap. She literally went, zoom. That was the speed she flashed her torch. And I wouldn't say it was in my bag. She just did it so that if her supervisor was there, he'd see that she's done it. And then she was like, okay, you can go through. And I thought, okay, because another security guard kind of next to us. I thought, okay, he's the one that's going to dissect my bag. So I didn't even put my bag on me just that point. And then he's like, no, go. And I was like, what? And even my friend with a rucksack, same thing happened to him. Nothing, no empty your bag. We're going to see what's this and this, or why are you carrying this bottle of water, or nothing like that. And normally I'm very much the kind of person where it's like, well, if anything happens, it happens. It's just you is the wrong place at the wrong time. Or, we can't live in fear. Let's just carry on. Normally I'm like that. But for some reason, because their security check was so bad and poor, it actually made me feel uncomfortable. But I didn't leave. But it made me feel uncomfortable. Me and my friend was sort of saying that, wow, if you want to bring in something, this is a place to bring it at, because there's no one checking. But, it's good that people are being employed. It's great, But it was worrying, because especially the fact that the trail that you walk through to see the lights, it's in the dark. Your only light is the lighting of the exhibitions that you're seeing. So it was pretty much darkness. So, Kew Gardens, you need to step up your game a bit. But anyway, going through the trail there, the night lights were nice, especially the trees and the mysterious, like, mystical trees, the old ones and stuff. And but if you ever go there, it's closed now, but if you ever go to it, if it's there next year, take a drink with you, especially if you're not alcoholic like me. I don't drink alcohol. Because I tell you what, if you drink alcohol, you like your mulled drinks, like the mulled wines, every 2 steps you make, there's a place that sells mulled wine. You walk 2 steps, another place that's mulled wine. Sweet shop, I don't eat sweets. I only like chocolate, milk and white chocolate, that is. And sweet shops. So it's like, oh, okay. So if you like your drink, if you haven't got diabetes and if you're a sweet tooth, it's a good place to go, because those were all the things that you saw on your journey on the trail. As you get towards the middle-ish of the trail, that's when you see a sign saying that had like, what do you call it? Like fairground attraction stuff. Not a lot, but they had a few for kids. And then they had food stalls. So like your sausage. See, my stutter's coming back. The sausage. I didn't have to say that word. All I wanted to say was hot dog. Do you see what I mean? It's like, I know I've got the stutter. It's a family trait. And they said it was I can't say. And that's one word I can't say. But I didn't even need to use that word. All I had to say was hot dog. Hot dog. Yes, they had hot dogs, hamburgers, pork in a bun thing. That looked quite nice. The food wasn't as great as Hyde Park, that Winter Wonderland. It wasn't as great as that. Same price range though, quite expensive. But yeah, so after that, carried on walking, and then in the walks, we were quite thankful we hadn't paid for the tickets because the lights were great. They were nice to look at. It had a very much a romantic feel to it. I think if you were with your partner, your spouse, you would probably have appreciated more than if you're a singleton like myself, because it's got that romantic feel to it. It's the perfect place for you to get on one knee and say, yeah, would you marry me? Yeah, cool. Right, fine. But towards the end, I'm not going to spoil it. And one of my resolutions, which I don't stick to, that's why I don't make them, but I'm just saying for the sake of this podcast, one of my resolutions is try not to spoil things for people by explaining too much. But towards the end, where the river is, lake, canal, I don't know, this is water, and it's opposite, I think, a hotel or a restaurant, wherever. It's a big building. There's a really nice display they put on, and we were transfixed at our spot, just in awe of the display. And I kept saying to my friend that, it'd be so hard to describe what we're witnessing. It's just so beautiful, so amazing. And it's the kind of thing you probably may never see again in your lifetime unless you go back to Kew Gardens. But it was worth it. Not the price they were selling the tickets at, but it was worth paying. I said £12.50. I think he said £10. Like, what would pay to see that? But it was a very nice display. And when I was watching it, a lot of emotions came to me. I was reflecting, mostly on my life, really. And at one thought I had, if I tell you everything, then it will become a therapy session. And I don't know, I might get sectioned. But one thing that did come to my mind, I thought, the choices I've made in life. I could have been behind that project. I could have been where they'll come to me and say, look, we need a really good design for our last piece at Christmas Garden, whatever, Christmas at Kew. And I'd have been like, I'm working on this new invention. I'll do it for you. How much are you going to charge? No, I'll do it for free. It's Christmas. I'll do it for free. And I would have designed what I saw. It was so amazing, so amazing. But that part was good, and it was good they put it at the very end because we talked about it as we left, and then went on the train, waiting for a train for 21 minutes, and then at West Hampstead waiting for a train for 19 minutes. So we did talk about it. But yeah. So today I went out for the first time with good health-ish. And I just thought to myself, since doing the podcast, am I attracting things for me to discuss? I'm literally seeing things that I never used to notice before. Or maybe I did notice them but just dismissed them. Like, for example, today in a post office, some guy was shouting at his wife, basically saying, I know this is off topic, but he was just basically saying I don't love you anymore, and she's not my girlfriend. Just because I don't love you doesn't mean she's my girlfriend. And I was thinking, awkward. And anyway, I left the post office, walking my merry way, went somewhere else. And the guy was behind me in the queue, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And I kept thinking, that poor woman or man, someone out there is sobbing and crying. Their whole life has changed, just because somebody just falls out of love. It's sad. It was sad. It was sad when I thought about it, but at the time when I heard it, I was listening. And what I've noticed as well is the begging in the streets, especially in St Albans High Street. It's increasing. It's sad, but it's kind of a nuisance in a way. Because I mean, call me harsh, call me what you like, but I don't like giving money to beggars. If a beggar said to me, can you give me a sandwich? I'll get you a sandwich or something. I'd rather give you that. But yeah, you see them when they're sitting on the floor. Some are walking around. The ones that sit on the floor don't bother me as much because you're not in my personal space. Like I can walk around you kind of thing. You're not in my space. But it's sad to see and horrible to see. But the ones that walk and beg, that's the ones where you're always like, whoa, you're in my space. I'm from London. I'm streetwise. But for anyone that's not neither streetwise or from London or whatever, I think it's very intimidating. Before I forget, so I went to Tesco's today. Right. You got the checkouts, the self-checkouts, and you got the checkouts. So normally I tend to go for the checkouts because the checkouts to me is, okay, you've had this stress of looking for something and then you've looked around places. Maybe sometimes I'm even sort of like, casually looking. And then when I get the till, I look at my basket, I'm thinking, I don't need that. I don't need that. It's too late. I can't take it back. People might think I look poor or something, I can't take it back. So, but normally I prefer going to the checkouts because with the checkouts, it's very much teamwork. And with the teamwork, you're dealing with a team member you don't know, but you know where each other stands, you know your role. So you empty your basket one at a time, they zap it through, and then you put it into your bag or your trolley, like for me, trolley. And that's it, you go. The bonus is if they say, hi, or how's your day? Or is it still raining outside? When you have a bit of small talk, that's a bit of a bonus. Sometimes it's like, please don't talk to me. But sometimes it's a bonus, But today I thought, it's a bit of a queue for the checkouts. The self-checkouts, there's a little bit of a queue, but there's practically all the self-checkouts were open. So I thought, okay, let me brave it. It's 2018, for goodness sake. Let me brave it. So this is why I don't like to use the self-checkouts. It's because the pressure. I love being under pressure, but the pressure for the self-checkouts is on another level. So this is how I see it. So there was someone in front of me, right? One person in front of me before that person it's their turn. So what I tend to do is to do little stretches so that people don't see I'm doing it, but I'm actually doing it. So I do the neck, do my legs, do my shoulders a bit, because this is going to be a race. Because when it's my turn, on a 100-meter race, when they get on the floor, you got the stance, which is on your marks. The other stance, which is your get set, and the go when it's like a zoom. So that's why I like to prepare beforehand. So when there's one person in front of me, I start doing the stretches, like, yeah. Say hi to my fans, everything, yeah. Wear my country colours, blah, 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 blah. And then that person goes in front of me and I'm like, shit. So that's on your marks. So that's where now your eyes are darting at each like self-checkout to see who's empty. Okay, that guy over there, he's paying by card, right? Okay, fine. So now that guy's there, he's paying by cash. That person on there is like, looks like they're about to go. So your eyes are darting everywhere because there's a really weird pressure with the self-checkouts. It's the fact that everyone does it, I think. Tell me you don't do it, I'll call you a liar. It's like you have to go. So as soon as a person leaves, you have to dart it to that desk, till, self-checkout thing. So I'm there, like, if there was a bomb that went off, I wouldn't have heard it. If anything was happening around me, a world war, I would not acknowledge it because my eyes and my ears are focused on the free till that's about to come up. And I've got about four options of tills coming up any minute now. And then suddenly I see this woman. Wasn't in my fort. I don't know how she did it, but she was getting her bags ready, and she just, that little, when your feet don't move but your body turns, that little half pirouette thing, that's when you go. That's the go. You don't wait for the person to start walking. It's when that top half has motioned. So because if you do it before that, you're waiting for them. That's rude. Because if you did that to me, that's rude. So you got to time it right. And the time that I've got is when the body's half twisting. So that's when it's like, zoom. So by the time I get there, they're already like a step forward. And then you're like, whew, jeez, whew. But you've got no time to like, whew, jeez. You haven't got no time for that. Because now you've got to scan your items. So I use a trolley. I don't use the bags. So I've got self-inflicted pressure because there's another pressure coming up, another pressure point coming up. So you're scanning the items, you put it on the bit where the plastic bags are, but I don't use a plastic bag, so I'm piling it on there. Like, do. Press finish, then it asks for my club card, get the club card out, and then put my card details in, my card thingy, blah, 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 blah. And then this is where the pressure starts. I have to get all my groceries in that trolley within a split second. No, a split second's too long. Faster the speed of light. Because not many people use the trolleys, right? So I know the person that's about to give me the baton because now it's not a 100-meter race. Now we're doing a relay. So I have to pass the baton to the next person, the baton being the checkout. But I don't want them to come prematurely because I still got to unload all this shit into my trolley. Now here I am throwing things in. Before, in my basket, even unloading it, when I was being the I've been very careful, put the heavies here, but because of that pressure, I don't have time to think about what's heavy at the bottom and, light stuff at the top. I'm throwing things in, I've got to do it faster than the speed of light. It's an unwritten rule. But anyway, managed to do it, do my little swivel before, and I always look back, everywhere I go, I always look back, like even if I sit down in a bar or something, I'll always look back, just because I've forgotten something. So I always look back, check if I've forgotten something, but that person's already now in the middle of their little doo-doo. So to me, I just think, you know what, if I've forgotten something there, maybe it's not that important, who knows. But I always check if I got my card, because that's the one I don't want to forget in there. But yeah, and you come out and you kind of feel that sense of achievement, like, yeah, I came, I saw, I conquered. I can do anything right now. If I could survive that, I can survive anything. So up yours, Grim Reaper. So you come out and then go past the beggars and stuff, and and I remember thinking to myself today when I was like coming out and I was walking past a beggar, and I thought, if they said to me, instead of saying give me some change, they said, oh, can you get me a sandwich? I would go back into the store and get them a sandwich. I'll even use the self-checkout because it's all about the love. I'll even use a self-checkout and go through all of that ordeal again just to give that person a sandwich. But no, my luck, I probably give them the wrong flavour. But yeah, but still. So that's really it. Hope everyone had an amazing New Year's and Christmas. New Year's didn't do anything. I never really do anything for New Year's Eve night. I had a lot of offers to go out and do things, but I don't know, sometimes I think my friends don't listen to me when I talk to them, because every year I'm always the same. Hey, let's go out. Come with me and my friends. Let's go here, let's go there. And I will say, no, I don't want to go out. Why? And the same thing every year. I don't like to do hopscotch with pavement pizza. And they're like, what? And I said the same phrase each time. I don't do hopscotch with pavement pizza. They're like, what? I go, I don't do vomit. Jeez, let me say the word and like feed my phobia. And they're like, oh, come on. I'm like, nope, seriously, I don't do vomit. I've been out a few times in my lifetime on New Year's Eve night, and I've witnessed taxi drivers puking, people just puking, puke, 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 puke. I don't do vomit, and and people are like, oh no, we won't go to a club. We'll park up close. I'm like, you know what? It's not even about the parking. It's like anything. With me, I've got a very curious nature. I know I hate vomit, and I've got a phobia of looking at it, hearing it, seeing it, smelling it, or anything to do with it. And I know I will be that person in the car. I'll be quiet. People will be like, you're right. I'll be like, yeah, fine. You're right. No, fine. And they'll annoy me because they're disturbing me. Because you know what I am? I'm like that little kid in the back seat that's peering their eyes through the window. Do you know what I'm looking for? Puke. I'm looking for puke so I can freak out in the car. And I know I'm going to see it. Even the other day, on Saturday, I was in St. Albans Market, minding my own business. I had such a good day because I got what I wanted, except for the chicken, because there was no chicken. Thank you very much. Who the hell's eating chicken? And I was walking in that bit in the centre where they're doing some renovations. I don't know if it's going to be a museum, right in the centre near Boots. Somebody had puked. And I remember I was walking and I looked at it. And when I go past puke, I have to hold my breath. I don't want to smell it. And I remember, the thing is, when I look at it, I'm fixated on it. I can't see anything else around me. I'm looking, I'm walking, I'm looking and looking. People would probably think that I'm having a conversation like telepathically, because I'm literally intensely looking at this. I can't take my eyes for it for some reason. And I'm so disgusted. And I'm just thinking bad thoughts to the person that puked. And in there was, I think it was egg and I don't know. It was egg based or yellow based or custard based. Who knows? But it was really foul. And that ruined my whole day. So my day was ruined. So on that note of puke, I hope you all had a pukey New Year's Eve night. If you went out, if you stayed in and got drunk, I hope you had a pukey day, and then you had the hangover the next day. But we'll be back next week. This is Shorty. I'm just a customer.